I feel a huge sense of responsibility to articulate accountability, lack of entitlement, and positivity because I believe in it.
Yeah.
And I understand, by the way, there's a, you know, it's funny, there's a very interesting thing going on here right now, which is there's an extraordinary amount of people that are content or happy, they just don't communicate, right? Like, negativity by nature is louder, has always been. Your grandmother who's miserable was louder than your grandfather who's content. The problem is now words are being documented at scale. This has always been the way. There's nothing different right now. It's just that we can't look at our grandmother's tweets. Fuck, if we could. I mean, my grandmother was one of the most super negative people I've ever come across in my life. In my life. Just unbelievably negative. Everything was negative. Every good thing that happened was a conspiracy theory. And I used to be mad at her, and then I had to remind myself as I got older and more thoughtful, I'm like, this is a woman who lived in the Soviet Union, who went through World War II, and, you know, who saw some shit, and who lost her husband, and who had because I knew my great-grandmother too, had a negative mother. And like, you become more empathetic as you become more thoughtful, but it doesn't take away from the fact that my grandma would have been spitting fucking venom on Instagram if that shit was around in 1957. You know, and so, like, I think we need to get into some real conversations, and right now, the conversations are lazy. Social media is bad. It's Apple's job to restrict it, and that's cool. I'm like fine with a level of like platform and government involvement. I'm fine with that, but like, you'll always be disappointed if you think some big force is gonna save you. Yeah. You'll always be disappointed. So just solve it for yourself.
That's what people make money off that idea as well, which is one of the things that in the health world is really challenging to look at. When people give some kind of diagnosis for every little thing and give some magical cure that's outside
like
of someone's
apple
control.
Fucking vinegar or fucking celery fucking vinegar. Like, I see all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, in anything, it's like, this thing is out of your control. You can't fix it. Oh, you're having a little trouble focusing? Don't worry. We got you covered. Like, you're broken. You're broken. Like, all the messaging coming across is, you're broken. We can fix you. You're broken. We can fix you.
The end.
You know?
The end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not broken.
You're not broken. That's the secret. Nobody here is broken.
Nope. We all suck shit at a ton of shit. We all are actually good at a couple of things. Spend all your fucking time trying to figure out what you're good at. And if, God forbid, one of those things is something you actually like too, you're off to the fucking races.
Yeah.
And in 2019, when you can make a podcast or an Instagram account or a Shopify store around Dragon Ball Z and make $73,000 a year doing that, that's real. What I just said is real. That's fucking crazy. Like, you have to go into a deep place. And I'm not joking when I say this, whether it's 50 therapy sessions, whether it's meditation, whether it's playing me on repeat, whether it's working out, whether it's writing things down, whether it's having a very difficult conversation with your mother, father, sister, of like that, you know, or with yourself. You have to figure out how to put zero value in other people's opinions over your happiness. That doesn't mean don't listen to people. I listen to every comment. I take feedback, but the thought of not feeling comfortable in my own skin because somebody might say that you're full of shit or you're not smart or you don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to eliminate that. The world is stuck in high school.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the comments from high school that replay in your head of like some dickhead.
You're nerd, you suck. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
like, I know that I'm a badass architect and badass, contractor. I can build literally anything. And like, it's not like
Have you started producing content on LinkedIn?
Not really. I've been honestly just focused on the $180 with
Instagram.
Hey Ben,
I'm telling you right now, today, post either a video or a written post about architecture or building on LinkedIn. the LinkedIn B2B scenario, LinkedIn is like acting like Facebook in 2012. You could have 0 followers. You don't even have to have a LinkedIn account as we sit here today. You go and sign up for one. You go and post, because now you can do that in LinkedIn, unlike 5 years ago. And you literally post something, a blueprint and you know, a picture of a blueprint, and then write about it. Like, I don't give a shit. Talk to them as if you were talking to a friend that was interested in what you had to say. You will be blown away about what's going on in there. Yeah. And I would argue will lead to more business opportunities than Instagram within the first month.
Okay.
All right.
So double down on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn all the way, go hard. Pictures of blueprints, write stories or thoughts or make a video.
Okay.
And really go deep inside yourself and be like, why the fuck would I give a fuck? Like, to me, here's the thing that helps me. When somebody writes something negative, I feel compassion and sympathy for them, not that they have power over me. For somebody to take the time, if their life is so shitty that they're watching you and then saying you suck, they're hurting inside, just like bullies in fucking high school. They're hurting inside.
Yeah, so you got to get over. I got to get over myself.
You got to get over yourself. You got to get over yourself in a very interesting way. I like that you said that. You got to get over the facade or the way you've tried to paint yourself to the world, right? Because vulnerability is a very powerful ingredient in being able to put yourself out there.
I was almost hesitant to call this morning because
shit. I'm losing him.
One of the things I'm sorry.
All right. No worries, brother. Yeah, a little bit better. Go ahead.
So what I typically do is, I put on this fake persona that isn't actually who I am. And
I love you. I love you for having the strength to say that right now on this show. I love you for that. That means you're.
It's true.
Good. And that means you're fucking moments away, because you could post for next fucking year and not have this many people watch. So good news. Like, now just start telling, you know what I mean? You're set. Like, the fact that you can say that on this show right now means you're inches away from going there, you know?
Yeah. But then you said yesterday, the thing that you're best at being is Garyvee. And I was like,
yes.
Well, that's my fucking problem right there.
Right. You're not best at being Ben Strout, the real Ben Strout.
The real,
yeah, well,
who I am.
Listen, you're one post away. You're one post away. Make one video and say, you could do it in one fucking fall swoop. Be like, here's the real me. It'll change your life. I promise you 95% of your inner circle is going to message you on Facebook or on text you and be like, I'm so proud of you. Because what nobody realizes when they're the fake version of themselves is that everybody already knows.
That's the fake version of you.
100%. You're my friends who are watching right now, you're not tricking anybody. You're fucking not tricking anybody. That if you go pot committed, you have a job that you don't like, paying college debt that you're pissed about, but instead of coming home and having a beer and watching Netflix and playing fucking Fortnite to escape, I get it. You want to escape, I get it. What I'm saying is just take a step back. Listen to me for a second. Come home and start building your Dragon Ball Z eBay account by buying shit on Craigslist and flipping it. Start a podcast and go Dragon Ball Z episode 1. Here we are. Start an Instagram account around Dragon Ball Z. Build. If you fucking did that around somewhere 12 years ago, loved Black Panther. Somebody did. It was a rare comic book. It wasn't the biggest of the world, but somebody loved it. But they didn't think that they could build a business about Black Panther. What they didn't know was 10 years later, Black Panther was going to be made a feature film that was going to completely penetrate culture. If she or he had a podcast and an Instagram account that really was the nichiest of niche Black Panther fans, which made no fucking sense 10 years ago, but it had its 43,000 people that fucked with Black Panther. When that movie came out and had that huge marketing budget, that motherfucker would have gotten $50,000 to market the fuck out of that movie on his Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, podcast, blog. And that same person right now is still sitting in their cubicle making $79,000 a year, hating life. I'm fascinated by that.
it's interesting, you know, like it's almost like we all have the chance to drill our wells, and we drill our wells through our effort, through our sweat, through our focus, through our intensity, but the water table may be at 300 feet. So if we don't go deep enough, you know, if we're just kind of casually fucking with Black Panther instead of really going deep and continuing to dig, we won't ever hit the water of being lucrative or the water of success. We may pull up at 200 feet. We may pull up at 250 feet and not get any water.
And so there's no confusion, somebody's going to go 400 feet. The great thing is that we can all do it. The bad thing is we can all do it. So now you're competing with the world. You know, there's a lot of people that started wine videos in 2008 after mine popped. Every liquor store in America started their wine show. They just weren't good enough, right? There's a lot of people trying to do Garyvee videos on Instagram every day. A whole lot. A lot more of those than wine shows in 2008. But they're not good enough because it's not true.
Yeah.
Like, the only way to really win is to be true.